Lower back pain during lifts isn't normal. It's your body's way of saying something is off. So let's fix it. So tight hips, hamstrings, limited thoracic mobility force the lower back to compensate during lifts. So we're going to work on 3 different drills to help feel better and productive for your lifts. You will need a yoga mat. And we're just going to lubricate the hip joint a moment. So have your palms behind you. Bring your feet wide, lift your chest, and just start to hammock your legs side to side. And make sure there's enough space for the knee to come down. I often see this position and then there's not enough space. So this is a great, easy mobility move that I always have my clients do just to start opening up the hip joint. Just moving side to side, keeping the chest lifted so you're really just focusing on the lower body. Okay, now pivot over to the left, coming into 90-90. Now this is very important, it's 90-90, so it's coming out of the hip joint. Thigh bone out of the hip joint, and then the knee and the ankle in line, so that's 90 degrees. And then the same thing with the front leg. Thigh bone out of the hip joint, knee in line with the foot. We're gonna oscillate here. So, and also pay attention if you happen to be leaning to one side, you're gonna really work on keeping that tall spine, and always make sure you're breathing fully and slowly. So from here, all you're gonna do, you can even place the palm on the back hip. You're just gonna oscillate the hip forward and back. And remember, we're accessing the lower back, the hip, going into the glute. So everything is working together. And I really want you to feel that rocking motion with the hip, pushing forward. Make sure this knee does not lift up. So you're actively pressing it down as you rock the hip. And now slowly pivot down toward the back knee, back hip. And I want you to try and, you can use your hands like I'm doing, try and get that back hip down. I know that's a lot, that's a big ask, but try it. Keep your chest lifted and the feet engaged. So the feet are always dorsiflexed in this position. And just work on trying to get that hip down and feel that stretch all along here. Make sure that knee doesn't lift. Okay, now come back and we're just gonna go over to the other side and adjust so that you're in that 90 position. And that's why the mat is great, because it's really helpful for the joints and giving you that tactile feedback. All right, palm on the back hip, and then just start to oscillate the hips forward and back. And how does it feel on this side? Do you have more range of motion or is it less? Keep that knee down, make sure the 90-90 is set up, and stay with your breath. Okay, now start to draw that hip down, turn the torso toward the back. So I pretty much got that sit bone down. This is like my easier side. But see what's available for you. And I have to say, not only do I have my clients do this all the time, like every time I see them, I practice this myself, because we are in a sitting society and the chair is like the worst thing for our hips, which affects our lifts, our squats, and everything else that we do in the gym. So keep drawing that hip down, chest lifted, and full breath. Okay. Now from here, lift up and let's check in with the hammock. Notice if it feels any different after the first round. Okay, now come up from that, come into quadruped. Spread the fingers wide, and I want you to think of the setup, it's very important. Hips over the knee, shoulder over the wrist. Try not to collapse the head and the chest, because that immediately takes away. We don't want the body to compensate in any way. So from this position, and you'll see the front view, or you'll see two different sides, so I'm not gonna turn. So place the palm on the side of the head, elbow down. Make sure you stay shifting your weight forward, not shifting back, because you wanna get into that upper back, the thoracic. So from here, inhale, and rotate up. Make sure the heel of the palm does not lift, because that is a compensation as well. Shift your weight forward and back down. We'll go 3 for 3. Inhale, up, exhale. Inhale, up, exhale. Release, and now you get to see the back side as well. From this position, inhale, rotate, make sure you shift forward, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Let's do one more. Inhale, exhale. Release the palm down, sit back, and just shake out your wrists. Okay, now lift up into a kneeling position and step the left foot forward. So you're 90-90 legs, kneeling. And I want you to think about the back knee. I really want you to think about getting into the quad and the top of the hip. You're also going to get into the psoas. So even though a stretch or a mobility move drill is targeting an area, there's always going to be other benefits. So from this position, what you want is to engage the glute. Use your hands to draw the tailbone down so you have that posterior pelvic tilt. If you arch, you're not going to get it. You're not going to get any release or any elongation. So really work on encouraging that posterior pelvic tilt. And if it's new to you, use your hands to help guide yourself there, your pelvis there. So pubic bone up, tailbone down. Squeeze the glute. Take the left arm inside the leg, and you're resisting in between each other. Take the right arm up and start to side bend. Squeeze the glute. Keep drawing that tailbone down. Stay with your breath. And that tension between the arm and the leg. And really feel that opening and release all along that whole right side. And now slowly come up and switch. And this time I am going to turn around so you can see. 90-90 legs. And then get that posterior pelvic tilt. Squeeze the glute. Arm on the inside of the leg. Take the left arm up and then side bend. And notice how it feels on this side. Is this side more productive? Are you getting a deeper stretch? Is it more open? Are you holding your breath? Remember, the breath is key to getting more space, mobility, which is also in the end going to affect your lifts. And release. You can just come down and just roll out the shoulders for a moment. This is always great to do as well for the thoracic, the upper back, and reverse. Okay, so we went through 3 drills. I recommend doing them, 3 of them. And if you're short on time, pick one. Now, I'd love to know how it went for you. Which one did you feel that gave you the most benefit? So test your lift, test your squats, test everything that you're doing, and see what's coming up, and then come back to these drills. Comment and let me know. I really want to hear from you. Now, if you want more insight, make sure that you hit subscribe so you can hit your PRs, stay with me, and stay ahead in your training. And I'll see you next time.